There we go, spot on. Thank you, Angelica. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, good. So, yeah, give me 1 second. Actually, I'm just sorry, because I'm just trying to figure out how I go.
That's okay.
I'm just figuring out how I just move my slides. Okay, there it is.
You got, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's great, perfect.
Fabulous.
So yeah, I'm super happy. First, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super happy to be part of today's discussion. I know that you've had a ton of probably great presentations. Sorry I couldn't join earlier, around mindfulness and a lot of well-being. So I think that this is helping us all to re-energize ourselves through these difficult times. So just the quick agenda for today, we're just going to spend 15 minutes today. I'm going to be sharing some insights from this a survey we did with Harvard Business Review late last year to understand how companies and leaders were approaching employee engagement. Because bottom line, when we talk about leadership in these difficult times, I think it comes down to how do you ensure that your employees are engaged, and we're going to see and talk about the benefits that comes out of employee engagement and what are the factors that play into employee engagement. I'm also going to be talking about what we're doing at Freshworks. So for probably those that don't know Freshworks, we are a customer and employee engagement company. Maybe this crowd knows Freshworks because of Fresh Service, which is our ITSM product. We have a lot of users throughout Europe and the UK. I'm not promised this was the only thing I would say about Freshworks products. But just one thing about Freshworks that I wanted to highlight is there is this survey that was conducted by Forbes into which were the top companies to work for in 2020 during COVID, and we're super proud to be to have been selected amongst 100 of the top companies. Again, this is thousands of companies that were surveyed, as being one of the nice workplaces to be part of in this difficult time. So I'm going to be sharing some of the things that we've been doing at Freshworks that contribute probably to this accolade, and just on maybe a very short nutshell, I'm going to share just some very personal insights into how I manage my teams and how I've managed my teams through these difficult times. And probably it has worked because we do regular surveys, and it came out that my team really appreciated working in this team. So I'm also particularly proud about this and happy to share some of my insights. So with that, just maybe 2 words on myself. So I'm passionate about marketing. This doesn't make me look any young, but yeah, I've been over 20 years working in different B2B marketing roles. I just love what I do, and I bring a lot of passion into what I do. I could say I'm a pretty engaged employee myself. I worked for different companies, different sizes, different timing of these companies as well, and learned it all a lot throughout every experience. Worked for companies like Intershop and e-commerce, Microsoft, different roles, different positions. Click, Swedish company on the BI and data analytics, and been 2 years with Freshworks. On the personal note, I am Colombian. Had a very strong American education. That's why I probably don't have a strong French or Spanish accent. And yeah, I've been living in Europe for around half of my life. I live in Paris, sunny Paris today. It's been raining for the last week, so probably first time I see the sun in the last 10 days. And I've been a manager myself since very early in my career. I had this privilege to become manager. I'm passionate about managing teams and getting the best out of everyone, and really trying to empower themselves to their full potential. So just a bit about me, and would be more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. So I talked about this hardware business review that we survey we did late last year, where we surveyed 400 companies and leaders throughout the world to understand what the whole topic about why employee engagement was important. At Freshworks, and for us, is a topic that we cherish. We strongly think that happy employees have a huge impact. And something as simple as happy employees make happy customers. Just think whatever experience you might have had with any brand, broken product, broken service. If you call in to whatever customer support and you have an amazing experience, which is not always the case, your relationship with that brand becomes so different. And we strongly think that for that to happen, you need to have happy employees and engaged employees, therefore. Now, what was striking to me is to see that this brings so many positive, and I think that some of the most performant and maybe some of the biggest companies, and also smaller or medium size, that really apply this become so much more performing. They see huge impact in productivity of their workforce, and automatically, when you put passion into whatever you do, whatever you're doing, the quality of your products and services just becomes so much more important. So engagement and having employees that give 100% of themselves is really important and has a direct link into the company's performance. Then we surveyed around what were the factors that create an engaged workforce. And what really struck me here is, probably if we had done this survey 10 years ago, and I've been in the workforce for a long time myself, the answers would have been probably very different. And what has been happening in the last years, and actually I can speak for myself, I have a very young team, a lot of my millennials in my team, is whatever people maybe care about in the workforce 10 years ago has completely shifted. And the recognition and awards and salary but became things that are relevant for being engaged. And what comes out, and this is a lot of companies sometimes miss it, is that employees really cherish feeling part there's a cause and they're part of a bigger thing. And at Freshworks, we really apply this to the way we work. We ensure that the relation is both ways, that we make employees feel they're part of, that they see the North Star, where we're going, that their input is so important. Because just think about when people are in the front line or in back or in the back office, they know the business, they know the customers much better than maybe the high management teams. And it's so important to get that input and strategic and management decisions. And it pays off, because when people feel considered, this is what clearly comes out of this survey. This comes out as being one of the top considerations of why people feel more engaged in their work, as well as having clear messages around the company, the company's health, not keeping information for employees. That's old style, that were the old days. I think that today, the most transparent the company is, the most support you have from your employees. If the company's not doing well, sharing this information is something that the leaders acknowledge as being very important for today's workforces. And what also came out of this survey, of course, we're a technology company. We wanted to know what, of course, the impact of technology, and of course, is huge. And I think that nowadays, just think about who we are as individuals. We live in a technology world. We're interacting with technology, and we're just used to that technology being flawless. All of your experiences are flawless. Where you connect to an app, where you're consuming a series, it's just flawless. And you're expecting exactly the same flawless experience in the workplace. And that's why we talk so much about consumerization of IT. But I think it's really true. And when you connect and come into, and especially young people come into a clunky software, spending hours into trying to make your laptop reboot. This brings such a bad experience, and technology has played such an amazing role in the last year for keeping us together. So I think that the role of technology has had such a huge impact and has accelerated in the last year. But the downsides of this is that, of course, this has had an impact in the IT teams. And I think if we probably talked about it, the world changed from one day to another. No one was expecting lockdown. Actually, when we went to lockdown with my husband and kids, we thought we would be locked down for 3 weeks, and 3 weeks later we'd be back into traveling and everything. Guess what? I've not seen my team, as probably most of you, for the last year. But this has a huge impact in the IT teams. And we conducted this survey with SDI end of last year to understand what was the outtake from the IT teams after this pandemic. And first, what came out is that emotional well-being is super important, and your work heavily contributes into your emotional well-being. And just think about it, now more than ever. You wake up, you're probably 2 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes later, you're in front of your laptop. You don't have that commute time. Same in the evening. You just put down your laptop and there you are in the same locations. And of course, for the IT teams, from one day to another, they were just swamped with demands, ensuring that technology was working for people to work flawlessly remotely. It just became such a huge change in such a short period of time, and has had such a strong impact in the well-being. Actually, when we asked if their emotional well-being had been affected by COVID and if it was positive or negative, guess what? 50% of the people that we interviewed said that the impact had been negative. And I think that this is nothing new, and a lot of companies have acknowledged it. And I want to share some of the things that we've been doing at Freshworks to this extent to ensure that we're taking care of our workforces despite of which teams they are. Of course, here I was mentioning the IT team. Of course, we have huge IT teams that support that we are all working remotely throughout this times. But and actually, a lot of things are coming from before the COVID time. First, the company culture is really strong into ensuring that the employees feel they belong. And because we think that it brings so much into the decisions that are made by management, not to just hear a line of management, but to hear what everyone has to say. We just create and try to ensure that opportunities for having this two-way communication, whether it's one-to-one or one-to-few, are constantly happening. Actually, in Europe, we have, of course, big business targets, and in order to accomplish those targets, we have identified key projects that we need to tackle in order to accomplish those business targets. And what we've done is just create teams, work groups of the people from different teams. It can be back office, sales, marketing, and they all work against one common goal. This is on top of their day-to-day jobs. And guess what? Just this feeling of belonging, working with other teams, has been super positive. And when we survey our teams, they all say that the fact of being part of maybe something that's not their core job and just helping the company make decisions around another important topic, they just feel that they're being cared of, and that whatever they think and have to say is important. And bottom line, it has been super beneficial business-wise. We also have this lead with heart training that every manager, it's 6 days, literally 6 days on training for managers around leading with heart. We strongly think that empathy and mindfulness is really important, at least for Freshworks culture, and we want to ensure that all managers, and I think that if you don't think like this, it's very hard to work for a company that's so human-minded and heart-minded as we are, from our CEO to all our top leadership. and it pays pretty well. I think that we have a pretty happy workforces and leaders that really like work on this empathetic size of management. And then there is a ton of great initiatives that came with COVID. For example, we're giving this what we call a refreshing day. We call it Fridays, and tomorrow is a Friday. So every 6 weeks, we're giving off a national, not a national, company holiday for everyone around the globe. They get 1 day off every 6 weeks. Maybe this, of course, is not easy for a lot of companies to implement. This is our CEO who said people are tired, they're overworking. I want to ensure that people have time to disconnect, and of course, has been received very well by all our employees. On top of this, we have meditation, yoga sessions, sports sessions with the team. This is also a great way to bring employees that don't know themselves, because probably they work in different regions or locations. So this has created a lot of links within different locations. We do, of course, a lot of working virtual sessions. There's our day-to-day lives, but we do a lot of fun things for our Christmas party. We had a band actually playing, a live band playing and streaming for all the teams. So all the teams were dancing, and it was a great party. We also brought a stand-up comedian. That was great fun. We also brought, for our sales kickoff, we brought a very inspiring person, athlete, actually, who usually does a lot of tech shows. So we do create a lot of opportunities for doing fun things virtually. The time, of course, that we managed to get together again. And we do a lot of, as I was saying, we survey every quarter to see and kind of pulse how everyone is, how the employees are feeling. And we take it very seriously. After every survey, we get together with the teams and HR to go through whatever is not feeling right for the employees. We openly talk about it, and then we take action. And we follow up to ensure that we're taking action. So I think that everyone feels that they're being heard and that there's action being taken. And just maybe to finish on my side, just a couple of things that I think are super important, at least for me as manager, and why I enjoy, of course, being part of this amazing Freshworks cultures and apply really well to this Freshworks culture. First is, and as we were seeing, one of the top things that come out for people to be and to feel engaged is having this opportunity to be part of something. And I think that for being part of something, you need to be yourself. If you're being another person or expressing yourself in a way you're not confident or comfortable with, has an impact. And I do think that it's so important to create the right conditions. Just think about when you go to school when you were little and you were afraid. Your brain, and that's how human brain works, just shrinks completely. When you have the opportunity to be in a safe environment, or at least what you think is a safe environment, you express yourself differently. You have this opportunity to bloom. And I've seen it because at least in my team, I build this culture of everyone can be themselves. Everyone can say and think and give their opinion, and it's safe. And if we go wrong, it's not a problem, because I'm a strong believer from a management perspective that failing is important. Because just think about the most successful businessmen, athletes, they've failed probably not once, but several times in their life. And you just learn and get stronger out of any failure. So I do cherish of course, the idea is not that we fail all the time, but that you accept failure and that this makes you stronger and get bigger. So that acceptance has been very important, I think, for my team, for being and feeling safe. And this brings so many good things. So with that, I don't know if I went over time. I just wanted to share this screenshot of the report I mentioned. I just really run through two of the findings. In the report, there's a ton of findings. This report that we did with SDI and ITSM 2021 and beyond, which gives us a state of the art of the IT service management. And of course, very volatile 2021. And we also have the Harvard Business Survey that I spoke about that you can download. Maybe we'll send you the link to all those who might be interested. So with that, I'm done with the some thoughts I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully it was insightful.
Thank you, Angelica. No, that was really great. That was really great. Thank you very much. And some really interesting research. Yeah, no, not at all. Some really interesting research. And you know, if I had a whole host of data, I'd love to really look into that about pre-COVID, post-COVID, you know, and all that, right? And so 82% said employee happiness impacted on technology. 67% that their work was impacted or well-being, work impacted on well-being, and 45% negatively. I mean, these figures are crazy, really, when you think about what work is and how much work we do in our lives, as Andrew said in the last call. And do you know what? You know, we're very lucky because we've SCI over the last few years has done a lot of work with Mauricio Corona and the team there in Latin America, in Mexico City, in Ecuador, Colombia, Peru and Chile were on the roadmap until COVID hit us. So we were gonna go to your wonderful country and sort of experience that. And I certainly think if my experience of people in Latin America, they are so different in their emotional connection, families, friendship. It's incredible. It's almost as if, you know, you guys fit into the perfect type of culture where leadership and teams and collaboration just works really honestly. And I think, and